There's an important thing that needs to be said, and I'm going to try to say it even at the risk of possibly boring you a little bit with a tiny lecture. You've probably heard of a popular biography of Beethoven called The Man Who Freed Music. Now, this title has always caused me a certain disquiet, because what does it mean? Freed music from what? From Bach? From Mozart, Haydn? Well, hardly. I mean, they all had plenty of freedom of their own. The truth is that all great composers free music, not from the bondage of other composers, but from routine, from mediocrity, from second-rate, dusty tradition. In other words, a great composer frees music from the predictable. Now, take one of Beethoven's most obvious examples of the unpredictable, the famous opening tune of his Third Symphony, the Eroica. Now, you know that tune. It rides along in E-flat major on the nice expected notes of the tonic triad. And it goes like that for 4 bars on just those notes, and then on the 5th bar, the unexpected happens. So the tune goes like this. Bang! That D-flat, surprise. The bondage of the triad is broken. Music is freed. But freed by what? By a D-flat. And that's just the point. It's a D-flat, not a C-flat, not an A natural, but that one chosen limited note, D-flat. That's what did the freeing. Now, doesn't this tell us something very important about the nature of freedom? Obviously, freedom must carry with it the meaning of freedom to limit oneself and one's material. Freedom is not infinite, not boundless liberty, as some hippies like to think. Do anything you want, any time, anywhere you want to. No, freedom isn't that. It means being free to make decisions, to determine one's own course. But decisions, deciding, means choosing. And choosing is impossible without rejecting. Now, can you understand that? You can't choose something without rejecting all the other things you haven't chosen. You see? If you choose one apple out of a dozen, you automatically unchoose the other 11. And if Beethoven chose that one D-flat, he automatically unchose all the other 11 notes. So you see, real freedom must contain within itself the freedom to unchoose as well as choose, to censor oneself, to limit oneself. And that is the whole meaning of democracy, the kind of freedom on which we base our hopes for a peaceful world, just as it is the meaning of freedom in great musical composition. In Beethoven, as in democracy, freedom is a discipline, combining the right to choose freely with the gift of choosing wisely. Now do you see what I meant by Beethoven's shaping of that movement? I hope so. End of lecture. Now we are going to hear more of that great free discipline in action. The last 2 movements of Beethoven's 4th piano concerto in G major. Now, the first of these is the brief but marvelous slow movement, which has often been compared to Orpheus taming the beasts with his legendary musical powers. The beast in this case is, of course, the orchestra, which is loud and angry and rough, and Orpheus is the solo piano, soft and tender. In this dialogue, as the movement progresses, the orchestra is gradually reduced to a domesticated whisper. And then everything ends in a happy final rondo. Our Orpheus today is a young artist who has the depth and power to match this music, a 21-year-old Israeli named Joseph Kalichstein. And he will be accompanied by one of our young assistant conductors, Paul Capolongo, a very gifted young Frenchman who was born and raised in, of all places, Algiers. How wonderful that Beethoven's music can bring together an Algerian and an Israeli. And here they are, Joseph Kalichstein and Paul Capolongo.